the Season 2 League of Legends North American Regionals. Please welcome your hosts, Rachel Quirko and Adam Makauka.
Woo! Welcome back, everybody. I'm Adam, and this is the lovely Rachel, of course. It's our distinct honor to be coming to you live from PAX Prime in Seattle. There we go, there we go, there we go.
Sounds like you guys are honored too. Well, Adam, our second match of the day sets up another big-time showdown as highly favored CLG takes on Legion.
Now, these two teams are playing for a chance to inch closer to representing North America at the World Championship in October, and also punch their golden ticket to the Season 3 Championship Series. Now, our teams are both excited to hit the stage, so what do you say we bring them out? Yeah? All right, guys. First to the stage, starting as the blue team, the number 2 seed, looking to inch closer to a berth into Season 3. It's CLG!
First up, I'd like to welcome their newest member. His individual performance can decide the outcome of the match. Playing top, it's Boy Boy.
Hey, give it up! Oh.
Next up, he's the founder of Counterlogic Gaming, former top laner. He's also known as a top-level strategic jungler. Let's hear it for Hotshot GG.
Come on, come on! Up top, up top. All right, guys. Next up is a veteran mid player who's been playing mid since the game's creation. He's also a founding member of Counterlogic Gaming. Let's hear it for Big Fat LP.
I know you're back there.
Ah, there he is. Yeah. Show him some love. Come on, guys.
Next up, the former AD carry for Curse Gaming. He's a player known for some of the best mechanics in the pro scene. Let's raise the roof for Double Lift.
Come on.
I raised the roof for you.
Taking his time.
Peter, you should appreciate that. It was embarrassing.
Ladies and gentlemen, finally, another founding member of Counterlogic Gaming and also former AD carry of CLG. He's the main theory crafter of the team. At support, it's Chowster.
I love that smile. All right, guys, let's hear it one more time for CLG.
All right, and now. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, guys. They may be the number 7 seed, but after a strong performance at IPL, they have demonstrated that they can take down heavy favorites. Starting as the red team, it's Legion! Come on, guys, give it up for them, give it up for them. All right, first up, he's the newest member of Team Legion. He gained fame with his top lane Lee Sin. It's Cruiser the Bruiser. Bruiser! Come on out.
Oh, we got some Korean intimidation going on there. Good luck, sir. And this guy is an aggressive early game jungler. He loves to feed his carries. Let's hear it for the original North American jungle Alistar. It's Vladimir. More smiles. What? I missed. I'm sorry. That was all me.
Next, it's one of the core members of Legion. You know he loves farming champions instead of minions. At mid, let's hear it for Prawley. Show him some love. There we go. I'm coming to you. Oh, my Lord. Ooh.
Oh, gosh.
All right, that was awesome.
Thanks, man. Next up is the man everyone on Legion says is the strongest player of the team. He prefers to let his game doing the talking. It's Demon Lol.
Come on, guys, give it up for him. Give it up for him.
Here's some of your teammates barf. Rock on.
And finally, he's an aggressive player who, alongside Probably and Laudamortis, is a theory crafter for Legion. Put your hands together, please, for Nubish.
Gotta love the hoodie, looking fabulous. Red Ranger.
All right, guys, it's time to head over to the duo that will be taking us through the next match. Freak and Riv, take it away.
Thanks, Adam and Rachel. Welcome back to the casting booth, everybody. We are wicked excited to get this match underway. I'm Rivington III, and with me, as always, is David Freak Turley.
Hey everybody, welcome to the North American Regionals. We've got phenomenal action coming up to you guys from PAX Prime.
You know, much like TSM versus MME, our next match will be the pressure squarely on the heavily favorited CLG. Here are a few keys to the victory, pushing CLG into their way to the semifinals.
Yeah, we're going to have an awesome match overall. Of course, CLG being the favorite means they're favored to win. Surprising how those words work. But Legion kind of coming out of nowhere. They've done a really good job the rest of the season. And CLG's been off the map for a while. So really both these teams are a little bit unknown because you don't know really who's ahead necessarily.
And now, yeah, before we get to those keys, actually, we had sat down with these players before the tournament went down to figure out what was in their head and what they had to say about their upcoming opponents.
Team Legion.
Team Legion.
Team Legion.
They're a fairly new team.
Legion is actually showed very well at the last few North American LAN events.
We don't have to do anything special to be Legion. I don't think they're pretty mediocre.
Right now, we put all of our focus on beating CLG so we can just move forward with that.
They've generally been one of the strongest teams on LAN, but on LAN they're a little weak.
I would say they're okay.
Individual skill is pretty even between the two teams.
In fact, I think their bottom lane is just trash, so it should be really easy.
Doing something aggressive early game against a confident team is really going to crush their spirits, and hopefully we'll be able to capitalize on that.
Please don't put this out if we get crushed.
All we have to do is beat CLG, and then we can move on.
If we play well, there should be no contest.
Watch out, CLG.
That's our secret strat.
Amazing. These guys just back and forth, and we saw them come out on stage with the taunt, so we'll have to see just how aggressive that Legion team is. CLG is indeed one of the dominant teams in North America, but as we saw in the early part of TSM versus Monomaniac Ferris match yesterday, every team in this event can be very dangerous, Freak.
Yeah, the early game has always been really, really good. All the underdog teams have started out strong in the early game, which leads us to the first key of the game. CLG needs to get to late game. They're the more experienced team. Their cohesion is great. Their overall game sense is awesome. And if they can get that game past the 35-minute mark, and we saw the very first match of the day yesterday, Curse just started winning mid-game team fights. CLG needs to run those same tricks.
Yeah, it's going to be that lineup for the late game that they get to. And if the late game doesn't work, they're really just going to have to let their stars shine. It's a great team on paper, but it's also been a long-standing team with great chemistry, Freak.
Yeah, you had kind of interesting words there in the interview before where Legion said that they were on par individually. Double If was like, their bot lane's trash. And honestly, on paper, you do think that CLG is full of all-stars. Everyone on that roster has a lot of top-level play experience, and any one of them can be the true MVP. We talked about Salsi on TSM.evo, really the guy with a strong back. Everyone on CLG has a strong back here.
And we've heard that Legion can be quite aggressive, which leads us to our next key factor. If these fall through for CLG, they're really going to have to understand when to pick their fights. Now, that can happen for any team, but how does that factor in against Legion?
Well, Legion's a very aggressive team. They're going to want to fight all the time. They're going to make some good choices. They're going to make some bad choices. CLG, if they've got their minds with them, if they have the foresight, they know what's going on, they'll just pick the good fight. You know, oh, you're coming at us, well, we'll back off. You're coming at us here, well, here's an easy ace. Let's take that battle. And that's one of the really big keys for CLG to push that into the mid game and into the late game, if the early game's even hard at all.
Exactly, and of course, the upstarts Legion very much plotting to shock the esports world today against Counter Logic Gaming.
Yeah, now Legion's got their own keys to the matchup. They want to bring this one home. Very first, Laudamortis has got to make that happen. The early ganks need to happen here. Legion's got a great aggressive roster. We've, again, seen all the underdogs start out early on and start out strong early on. Legion has to follow suit there. They've got to make those early ganks count. They've got to get first blood. They've got to start out ahead.
It's very much like MME. The next feature to Legion and the key to victory is really to surprise CLG. In what way can they do this? And CLG strats are going to be very standard.
Well, yeah, they're going to have to surprise them with a lot of early game aggression. Ultimately, they're going to, and you have them kind of together, really. They're kind of the same point here, where they're going to have to show up out of nowhere. And again, Legion's had a lot of good results recently. CLG, interestingly, is actually the one that's been kind of off the map for a while. But if you can make those games a little bit shorter, if they can get there and really stop CLG's first point of make the game reach late game, then that's going to be really, really great for Legion. They want to make those early games happen, and they want to keep plowing through with them and have good fight after good fight, take down turrets, take down champions, and get themselves ahead.
We're definitely looking at this featured match now as we come into this. We've been doing it for every game to pit two against each other. Lauda Mortis versus Hotshot, the junglers, to go at each other's necks.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because, you know, CLG, right, it's this team with so much experience under their belt, but Hotshot is new to jungling, honestly. He's only had a couple of tournaments under his belt now as a jungler for CLG. He's been playing the game, but not so much as a jungler. Laudamortis actually has a wealth of experience in the jungle. He's been playing that for a while, though ironically Legion is the newer team. So we'll see if that matches up in an interesting way where one's got more experience in the role, but one's got way more experience playing with his team.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our keys to victory. We have what's known for these teams to go down. We want you to weigh in as well. Head over to facebook.com/League of Legends and join us there on the Facebook page. Or if you're on Twitter, make sure to join us there at #NARegionals to put in your info on the match. And we may be able to talk about that and talk to what you've said on Facebook or Twitter during the commentary.
Yeah, this match is absolutely amazing, and it's about to begin. But before we do, so we've got all of your attention right now, let's get ourselves into Champion Select, actually. Just let to debate you out with that one. We are ready to go. Champion Select's going to start up. Let's get this game going on, guys. It's going to be a show. It's the final quarterfinal here. It's the last one. We're going to find out which of these two teams is going to join the Final Four. It's going to be really, really important here.
That last grueling single elimination quarterfinal match as the bans go out. We see Shen, Alistar going down once again. Alistar only let in the tournament a few times this weekend. Once again on that ban list. Skarner being played last game by those two teams, Nunu and Nocturne. Nocturne actually the first ban I think we see coming out towards him within the tournament.
Yeah, so already, I mean, all of them getting dropped out. Really, really rapid bans actually overall. You're right, Skarner bans not really that common overall, but CLG rushing for the Sona. And this is something we saw at the European regionals a little bit, where the top two supports of the event were actually Nunu and Sona.
Yep,
and CLG, they banned out Nunu early on. They left that last ban for Skarner, and they said, first pick, that's going to be Sona for us.
So just looking at the bans before we jump into, even if these jump into the picks, what these bans, are they focusing late game, early game, composition of AoE, that area of effect strategy? What do these bans tell you?
Intelligent Gaming's bans are really looking at stymieing early aggression, and then that one knockoff from Nunu says, we're going to have a better late game than you. By getting rid of Nocturne and Skarner, you've got two great gankers off the map, and then by banning out Nunu, Nunu's one of those supports that can snowball an early game with those slows, but also can turn a carry into a late game force automatically. So CLG really wanted to control the pace there and say, no, we're going to play some mid-game champions where we know we're better.
And I really like the team that's actually coming out from Legion here. They're kind of grabbing a team that has an ability to be untargetable. That Valkyrie out, you can still target it, but it's going to be difficult. You're going to have to chase in probably a position you won't want to get in. Vladimir going into Sanguine Pool as well, so they're really able to just mitigate a lot of damage right off the bat or fake out cooldowns on the opposing team.
Yeah, and the really interesting thing here is these teams have just blitzed through Champion Select. The picks and bans, I think, are pretty much record time for a LAN tournament here. They're picking and locking in their champions within about 10 seconds in, which tells me that these teams have done their homework. Now, in the last match, I was listening in actually on Dignitas's voice chat like the entire time, and in game one, they were like, they picked exactly what we thought they'd pick. Man, we should really go to our hotel room and actually jot down all the picks from the last tournaments every time, because homework makes this easy. And these guys, you know, just judging by the speed here that they're picking champions, are doing their homework. Of course, as I say this, Prawley is taking his sweet time for the last grab there as they're going to pick a support. And looking like Soraka, Corki's going to be that bottom lane. So, Riv, let's break down these teams. We can see both rosters. You guys at home can see them on your screens. You guys here in Seattle at PAX, you can see them up on the screen. But guys at home, you're missing out some of the atmosphere here. I want you guys here around us to prove how awesome it is to be here at PAX. Can you guys give a cheer and deafen everyone else at home, please?
Absolutely amazing. Everybody here to support their favorite team, to support League of Legends, free to pay. Head over to leagueoflegends.com, sign yourself up, and get yourself into the action and possibly that relegation match in Season 3 to make yourself a professional team.
Yeah, you know, time's still there, of course. We're picking three of the 8 slots for Season 3 from North America, but there's still 5 to go by the end of the year, so get your practice on, guys.
For sure, and I actually like this Soraka pick. It goes complementary with the Karthus ban. They're able to just like kind of deny that Requiem, and they also have the Wish that's going to be able to just give health to everybody on the team. However, you have a very fast movement team coming from CLG. You have Sona, you have Sivir, you have Mundo. They're going to be able to catch up to you very fast, so it may not matter that they have that Vladimir with Sanguine Pool. They have that Corki, because Mundo's going to be able to run right through the front line, and he's going to want to take down that AD carry.
Yeah, so as we look through the picks, you can see, of course, Legion on your screen right there. They're focusing in. The game is loading. We're going to be underway in just a second, and you can just see the game faces and the determination from these guys. The game has now loaded up. We are ready to kick off this very first game. Now, crowd, I want to hear you guys once more. If you want CLG in the driver's seat for Game 1, let me hear you guys cheer for Counter Logic Gaming.
And coming in from the purple team, or your red team, we are going to see Legion coming in. If you would like to see Legion take Game 1, let me hear you call it out for Legion. Both teams have quite a backing in the crowd here. CLG obviously getting the chant. Obviously, the more historical team here in the game, but that does not mean they're just going to roll through this. They may be able to play that bolstered, just consistent strategy of split pushing. They don't really have Hotshot in the top lane anymore, and that's not really Voyboy's strat. You would have usually seen Hotshot on that Shogath, on that Shen. Very tanky pushing characters that can really tango with the team in a 4v1 situation, and you would see CLG usually push the lane. We'll have to see if they consistently go for that strategy again. They have a little bit of a mix-up between that. You don't really get too much of a push out of that top lane from Olaf. So we'll have to see if they consistently, keep that 4-1 split going on the map.
Yeah, so as we look through these rosters here, I want to point out Legion's core strategy. Legion's team fight presence is, here's their goal. Basically, they want to tank through everything. When you put Soraka and Maokai on the same team, you've got ultimates that work really, really well together. Maokai's ultimate, he puts it down. All of your teammates in that area are going to take reduced damage, so they can start tanking in a team fight. When you add Soraka on the team, she passively gives magic resist, but also she can heal every member on her team. So as they take reduced damage, they get the health back, and they keep taking reduced damage. It's very, very difficult. CLG doesn't even want to do these team fights. They've got 3 teleports, they've got a summoner promote, they want to split the heck up in this game, and speaking of splitting up, well, it's a 4-on-4 in the jungle.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. That is such an aggressive strategy. Maybe besides the top laner, you see mid taking teleport, but 3 of them bringing that to the table this game. You can expect every fight to have a party for CLG.
Yeah, the only one really not bringing it out here is going to be Chowster, because he's got promote. I mean, everyone's still bringing out Flash or Ghost overall, so when they have a second summoner to bring in, they're going to say, okay, hold on, we'll not quite 5 teleports, but still a very aggressive lane. And right off the bat, Doublet and Chowster are going to be up in this middle lane. They're 2v1ing Probably on Zyra, and this is great because they're doing amazing, really awesome lane swaps here. And if Legion reacts, they can teleport back to the lane they want to go. So CLG is immediately setting the pace here and setting for a very interesting early game. So instead of saying, hey, CLG, make it the late game, they're showing up right away saying, early game, we're going to crush you from the start.
And as we spoke to Legion before this happening, we heard them say, we think CLG is going to run that duo top. Well, womp womp, it's going to be a duo mid, and that's going to be different. Your AP is going to have burst, and usually the AP will be able to farm up very nicely. Zyra does have good area of effect, especially at level 6. She can just shut both of those champions down. But right now, it's going to be a lot of harass, and it's going to be stopping a farm-heavy game, and that's really CLG's point right now.
Yeah, so Probably's going to try to survive his mid lane with his plants. He should be safe overall. Zyra has a lot of crowd control. It shouldn't be too easy to aggress onto him. And Sivir Sona in general is not a hyper-aggressive lane. They're good at harassing and poking and dealing damage, but they cannot force you to die. So if Probably plays this right, he'll take some damage. He might miss out on some minions, but overall he should have a pretty decent time in this lane.
So pushing up very hard top. Legion actually, Loudamortis getting caught out here. Hotshot does have Burning Agony down. He's trying to get around for the flash over. He doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it. Arcane Smash to slow down. Oh, he dodges the cleaver. First blood to Jouster. And he is not going to get any help from the top lane. I got to say, that was one heck of a fancy flash, though.
Yeah, that was a nice try there to get away from that with the flash, but ultimately he invaded into the jungle and got caught out by doing it. When you've got a Dr. Mundo with a lizard buff, he's going to chain slow you. It's going to be very hard to deal with that.
Probably getting caught up here, but he went in the bush, no vision, and they return it very quickly to Hotshot. GG. And they have to be careful here. Loudamortis went in the jungle, but I think he forgot he was actually pinched between 3 champions, 2 on his bottom and 1 on the top. And Sona was just able to say, you know, Doublelift's going to be able to stay mid. He'll get a few minions to himself, a bit more experience. I'll go help with First Blood.
Yeah, that was really interesting because an early ward is what allowed that to happen there for Legion. Normally, when you pick off a jungler, it's like, great, I can counter jungle and steal every major monster from your side of the map. But Legion had a ward watching him invade, so the top lane and the mid lane collapsed on down. And speaking of collapsing, they're now up on a Chaucer. Can they do enough damage? He's very, very low, but Prawley actually gonna get dropped, and Chaucer has all the kills there on CLG. Prawley will turn that one back with his own passive, but now Loudamortis is not gonna enjoy this. He's so very low, 1 hit from dead, and Doublelift will pick up the third kill now on Counterlogic Gaming.
Wow, this match is just back and forth, and I believe we said aggression coming into this one. Legion and CLG both going neck to each other, just trying to get that cutthroat game down. It looks like they are going to try to take down this turret right here. Not going to get enough damage, however, as each of those minions only taking a few shots. They're going to be backing up now, 7,600 gold to 6,600 gold. This is the highest 5 minutes gold throughout the entire tournament for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just aggressive all around. So many kills coming out here, and it's just a great start overall. And I've got to give the edge. I mean, obviously they're up 3-2 in kills, so they're winning, but an extra edge to CLG because Chaucer has already gotten one of his gold generation items. That Heart of Gold there giving him bonus health and also just passively giving him gold throughout the game. And so Chaucer, though he's on support, is going to be one of the richest members of this game throughout the entire duration there, and he's going to get a lot of items for himself. He's going to be able to buy a lot of auras and a lot of actives and really supplement his team throughout this game.
Yeah, this is great, and they knew he was there. They baited this one in. It's going to be on the other side. It was Hotshot there for the counter jungle. One more briefcase. The Infected Cleaver goes down, and they are going to be able to get it. Hotshot GG picks up that kill. 4 kills now for CLG. As they're still milling about bottom lane, they're trying to chase Soraka out of this situation. Doublelift with more attacks. Does he have the boomerang to hit? Will he hit the blind? Voyboy coming in with the undertow, and he will be maxing that as well. Nintendo loving to max that undertow. It can put out some huge damage, and Voyboy doing the same.
Yeah, Voyboy, even if he wanted to normally max that Reckless Swing in lane, he's in a 1 versus 2 lane, meaning it's very hard for him to walk in a melee range and actually engage in trades. So he's using instead is that undertow to make sure he can last hit minions from afar and just spam that down to make sure he has good gold income. And speaking of gold income, he's got 39 minion kills. He's honestly up with everyone else in this game. So that lane swap, it is not hurting him whatsoever.
So you know, Freak, we see some really big Korean habits coming out here from CLG. The gank strats over the farm strats. Oh my gosh, so much damage from Doublelift, and he just completely wipes out Prawley in middle. No chance there. Probably still building for the challenge to sustain him in lane, but I think he needed to get a little bit of armor for this one.
Yeah, or at least just to dodge the boomerang blade. I'm so surprised, you know, a player of this caliber, he's got boots of speed. He should have been able to just run left. And that's all it would have taken to survive that gank. I mean, Devils did a great job going in for the pressure and going in for the first turret kill at 7.5 minutes in. Definitely an early one at that. Probably really should have dodged that.
Probably.
If I were him, I probably would have dodged that.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. 6-2 here, 7 minutes, 50 seconds into the game as we get up to that 8-minute mark. 12,000 gold to 9,000 gold as CLG continuously continues to aggress. These guys are just at the throats of Legion right now. There's really not much they can do. Grabbing their blue up to give themselves as much advantage as they can. And really coming out here, we said CLG is going to have to stick to their strats. You know, this may be the new one.
Yeah, this is their strategy. They've been in Korea. I said they were a question mark in the pregame. It's a question mark because they've been playing in a different continent. And the Korean players, they've really shown this strategy where they come out aggressively, they take turrets down. We actually saw CLG Prime playing against CLG Europe in the group stage of the OnGameNet Championship. And they actually pulled out a similar strategy where they pulled out an early promote, and they tried some tricks there. They've not used the promote just yet, but we'll see what kind of tricks come out once they do burn that summoner spell.
And it will. They're really just putting the stranglehold on this Team Legion. They're not letting them breathe, and here it is, a 3v1, the Sanguine Pool, a little too early, and they should be able to take this one out with an exploding cast, push him up against the wall, and the Hemo Plague coming off, but not with much damage.
Wow, a really, really nice gank here. Counterlogic Gaming is the one who's being aggressive this game. And it's interesting, when we talked to Team Solo Mid yesterday, they said, you know, it's single elimination, we're a little bit worried here. We're going to play a bit safely, you know, farm our lanes up, and we'll turn it around in the mid game, we'll turn it around to the end game. Counterlogic Gaming is like, we know we're the better team. They just turned on the pace from the start. They're about to take their second turret down now, and they have not let up the pace.
And yeah, that second turret's going to be huge. Global map control now coming into position. They're going to be able to push these lanes and really have vision of what's going on near the enemy jungle now. They do have some aggressive wards. They know they have it over by blue. They can see Loud Immortus right now, but he also has picked himself up in Oracles. And although they're a little bit behind, and he does have that that gold generation item for himself, which is really good, they do need that Oracles to keep map controller. It's going to quickly fall out of their hands.
Yeah, ward control right now is going to be a very big deal. Counterlogic Gaming is constantly roaming around, and it's allowing them a couple of kills. You saw the earlier kill on Vladimir, their second turret grab as well. CLG is all about map mobility, and so wards are really, really important here for Legion. And on the same side, Legion needs to get back in before team fights start. They're down 4,500 gold. At only 10 minutes in, that's a very significant margin. It's going to be hard to win a team fight unless you turn something back. And one good way to turn it around is to get some ganks for yourselves and get yourself back in shape.
You know, with a bursty team like this, we used to see this composition somewhat from Moscow 5, where they would keep Janna with their jungler for that tailwind movement speed. But using Sona, you get so many other auras with a little bit of that movement speed as well. So that composition of running around with Sona, able to get from lane to lane faster and really just mess with the mechanics of what somebody would think if they see you leaving lane. Yeah, I have 5 seconds. You're going to have less time, and they're really playing on those little mechanics that's giving them this advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. Just the overall wealth of experience, the overall strategic choices here from CLG are really pushing them ahead right now. But not only is it a best of 3, but the game is not over even singularly. Legion has an amazing team composition where they can refuse to die. They really, really can. And Counterlogic Gaming, although they are up in gold, they've got a lot of kills on really important targets. Doublelift is 3-0 on Sivir. He's still not quite up there in minion kills with Demon Low. So if you want to check out the gold difference between the two, it's 4,000 versus 3,000. That is a pretty big difference, but you're going to see that gap just get a little bit closer together as this game moves on, and you can see Legion just take one really, really good fight because their ability to 5-on-5 is absolutely amazing.
Looks like we're clearing wards here as they're just above that elbow brush on Dragon. Back and forth as these teams have pretty good poke from both sides. Gragas throwing out the explosive cast to figure out what's going on in the bush. And he will start to trail off by himself, actually. Maokai following closely behind. And nobody's really going to get a fight out of this one. We look at some items, we do see Doublelift quickly went for 2 Dorans into that BF sword. That damage he is able to output with Boomerang is just so great if he can get it to pass through twice. We saw how quickly he took down probably all by himself. Corki going for that Triforce Freak. What's going to be that damage output between both of them over the next few minutes?
Well, going for an early Trinity Force means you're looking for a mid game. It's on, oh wait, hold on, Demon Low getting jumped onto this top lane there. Slow down a little bit, probably is nearby. CLG actually still wants to keep on going. What about Pop's ultimate? He puts out another Undertow. Teleport actually getting canceled there. They might have brought a third member in, but CLG deciding not to dive this turret just yet. But in the mid lane, Doublelift picking up his 4th kill of the match is now on a rampage after killing Loud Immortus on Maokai. And CLG are still turning up the heat. And that mid game might not even happen here for Legion as they're going for their 3rd turret kill. You can see them just dealing more and more damage. And they've used the promote as part of it, just tanking that turret, refusing to go down. That turret's going to be theirs. CLG now up 3 turrets and 6 kills, 6,000 gold as well. And now they're going to move somewhere else. Chouster leading the charge without Oracles. Another turret falling. CLG really their fingers on the ignition, and they are constantly accelerating this game.
We're looking at pushed all the way up to that 2nd tier of turrets. They're down to the 3rd tier in middle of that inhibitor turret, and they really have full control of this map. if Legion wanted to get back right now, it would have to be those one-on-one pickoffs, and it may happen right here. Can Corki hit Boy? A very nice undertow backwards, and that's really going to slow him down. He has no reason to Valkyrie into this one as he may be turned on, but they are going to try to force them out of the jungle. They want to regain control here. It's getting a little out of hand for Legion.
It really is. Counterlogic Gaming is having a field day with their overall game plan of splitting up and just having a lot of movement. And the interesting thing here is they've not even used most of their summoners this way. A lot of their teleports have not happened so far.
And we're going to check out a replay of that last takedown. See what happened here in this one. They were going towards middle. We see that they did catch Loudamortis out. This was when that was happening top as they jumped onto him, and they finally just quickly take him down as we missed that one. Just so much aggression all over the map, and you can see how that's been happening all weekend long. Lanes engage on each other, and that's really the advantage the team likes. Hey, the jungler's up top. Let's make something happen down bottom. We need to counteract this. Now going for the Dragon. First one at 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's going to be CLG just cementing more and more advantages for themselves. And you saw that even though they were picking off kills left and right, what they chose to do, for the most part, was actually pick off turrets. They actually left Dragon as an advantage for themselves to pick up later on. Even though it respawns, even though they could keep farming it for more gold, they wanted the turrets right away to change the pace of the game. Now, at 14.5 minutes in, again, they've not burned through most of their summoner teleports. The ability for them to move around and split up and take other turrets is still completely available. All of their major carries can switch lanes and take a turret and take a lane out of nowhere. Legion, though, they've got to stick together. They're down in gold individually. Any given 2-on-2 is going to be in CLG's favor. Even if it was Chowster 1v1ing someone, he'd probably tend to win by having those early kills.
You see, again, a big fat pushing mid here. The items now coming into some of those core items, and it is actually going for the Bloodthirster on to Sivir. So it looks like Doublelift is going to go for some fast damage, but a little bit of consistency there. Not too much burst unless he's hitting with Boomerang Blade, but he's going to be able to keep himself very sustained in lane. Sona can really focus on other champions if she needs to. This gives Chowster the ability to not have to stay by Doublelift the entire time during the fight. We'll have to see as they're pushing this lane. Loudamortis comes up. It looks like they will be a little bit cautious about this. They are going to be pushing mid, taking down Zyra's plants. As they push down onto this first inhibitor turret, Zyra is there. Stranglethorn can pretty much clear that entire front staircase if they get a big minion wave and they're trying to take it down. So they really actually have a good ability to turtle this defense down and bring it into a late game. But like we said, that's exactly what CLG wants.
Yeah, CLG is going to be happy to have a late game. Legion just wants a good 5-on-5 with the gold close together. They're going to jump in there. Double taking a lot of early burst. They're going to put out some damage. There's the explosive cask knocking Legion back, and they're unable to engage. There's Counterlogic Gaming choosing their fight, saying, yeah, a fight with our AD carry at half health. You know what, let's go ahead and back off. Let's let Doublelift get his health back up. They want Sivir to be healthy because she's going to deal so much damage in these battles that they want to be at full strength.
So this is where it becomes very hard for Legion, Freak. None of their lanes definitively won, so they need to move in team composition around the map. What do you do in this situation besides right now almost taking down Chowster but not getting the kill off as the last few ticks of Ignite wear off? What do they look to do when you need to put your entire team behind a turret to save that?
Well, they need to find some way to pick off a champion. Just like that, they got a lot of damage output. Crawley was almost able to pick up that kill. They need more moves like that. Whether it's Crawley, whether it's Loudamortis, Cruiser, or anyone on that roster, they need to get a kill pretty much out of nowhere. They need to string a couple together. Now, they have the ability to do this because CLG is going to be pushed so far up. There's a lot of room to flank around them because there's a lot of passageways that lead in and around your base. When CLG's up that far, Legion can make those flanks happen. And that's really going to be their goal here, is to get a flank and to get a random pickoff here. I don't think at their current gold they can fight a dedicated 5-on-5 and come out ahead. I feel like CLG is happy to just kind of run their faces straight forward, and the ensuing battle would work in Counterlogic's favor. However, thankfully for Legion, Counterlogic is actually split pushing. They're happy to not just dive forward in one lane. They are still splitting up, trying to use their mobility advantage. They've got Sivir, her ultimate makes people run faster. Hot shot there on Dr. Mundo. His ultimate makes him run faster as well. And they've got Sona, again, with another movement speed aura on top of that. You add the 3 summoner teleports, and yes, CLG is amazing at split pushing, even without global ranged ultimate. The problem is, any given 2-on-2 and any given 5-on-5 is good for CLG.
So, Freak, now Legion kind of forced into a situation. If a Baron comes down to it, do they really want to fight the Baron or just try to keep CLG off of it? Obviously, if they take enough damage, they want it. But where does Legion, besides that one kill, what are they looking for to grab this one back?
I mean, I think that's their really only goal right here. They can always go for a Baron steal as well. I don't think CLG will go for Baron because they don't want to leave that risk up overall. But right now, I mean, Legion cannot 5-on-5. They need to get one kill. They need to get a burst advantage out of nothing, which would be a Baron steal, because pretty much everything's created equal when you're going for a Baron, because it's just who can smite better. If they can get a kill from a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, again, that's going to be an advantage, a very, a poignant advantage out of nowhere. Those are the two things you need to go for. And there you go, the burst combo. Holy cow, Prawley, that was nice. Just takes down Doublelift. So I said it in a 2-on-1. Well, that was 2-on-1 the other way, and it still worked out.
Very nice twisted advance, but he didn't expect the rest of the team to be there. This is what they needed, Freak. Catching him off guard. The crescendo from Chowster is there. Will he decide to use it? The Shurelias goes out. They do have the movement speed steroid, and it looks like both teams are going to back off. Demon Lol doing a very nice job there of getting that damage down. They almost took out Big Fat. Turning back around onto Cruiser. He may go down here, taking a good amount of damage. Boy wants to fire through this. Another Shorelia is going off. Able to get the next axe down. Hemo Play traded for Sanguine Pool, but it looks like Crescendo just missing that one, and they are able to pick up Chowster with a 0-for-1 trade. Demon Lol forced out of the fight by the skin of his teeth.
Wow, and Cruiser had the most epic move there. He actually Sanguine Pooled underneath the Crescendo. He blew so many cooldowns and came out unscathed. The problem is, even in a 4-on-5, they force Legion to heal, and Counterlogic Gaming can take another turret down. It's going to be their 6th if they can make it happen. They are forced back as they run out of minions, but you can just see how much CLG wants to turn up the pace, completely contradictory to what we thought it was going to be. They're saying, nope, aggression's our game plan, and they're honestly going to inspire a bit of fear in the rest of their opponents. This is a scary team to look at right now.
You know, Freak, that's actually something I mentioned in Champion Select, that they have those abilities to dodge or they have the effect to dodge those abilities and waste the cooldowns, but when you're just covered by the entire CLG team without any assistance, it's not going to work in your favor. So if they can get that Team 5 composition in, get those fights going down, get a big cooldown off of Sanguine Pool again, like the Crescendo to be wasted and only hit one other champion, I think with probably still up Nubish to Wish, they have a really good chance at bursting down CLG in this fight still. It seems like CLG is kind of stalled out now. They're not as aggressive. We haven't seen as many kills as we did before, and this is where Legion can kind of start to crawl back. If they have all these minions to feed off of coming in, they may start to scale a little bit harder.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with how they're holding together this sort of, I want to call it late, it's only 20 minutes in, but I want to call it late game because they're back down to their own
forced there by
turrets.
CLG.
Exactly, yeah, CLG just suddenly turned it to a late game situation. There's so many turrets dead that you're going to move as a team a lot more often, but the difficult thing here is CLG has so much gold. Oh my gosh, Baron aggroed up on a Chowster. Can he get the kill? One hit to go. Baron, can you do it? Baron not the 6th member here for Legion, but Chowster almost going down. Probably turned that one. Very, very close. Chowster did flash away. He did survive, but that was almost a little 2-versus-1 out of nothing.
Yep. Big Fat again. So CLG kind of sticking to the roaming strat still. Gragas, a very mobile champion, dashing through those walls with Body Slam, can get himself out of some pretty sticky situations. He also has the displacement of his ultimate. He can throw it anywhere and just blow up the team, pushing them in every which way. He decides to place that explosive cast. And now we will have word on this. Nubish does have the Oracle, so they are going to be able to pick up this dragon. It doesn't seem like they're getting contested here. Gragas coming in to just do a little bit of damage. And, I do not believe he got it. Nope, Maokai going to smite down the dragon. And we are going to see that coming up at about 27:40 for the next one. We'll have to see what both teams do at that time as they start to mill about and possibly congregate back down towards the dragon. There is a lot of power still coming out for Sivir. You also have a good amount of damage going to be coming from Dr. Mundo with those percentage cleavers, so they may have a chance to take Baron uncontested with the amount of force they have pushed into Legion's base. They have vision on Legion by minions. They have vision on Legion by aggressive wards in their jungle. I would say the jungle right now belongs to CLG on both sides. Up until that point, Legion has their base, and like I said, an uncontested Baron may happen. They do have some movement here. Soraka's going to throw a ward over the side. Chowster, I don't believe they officially saw that come in there. Mundo may have. Looks like they are going to go for it here. Actually, Big Fat coming around the backside. They focus on him. Crescendo from Baron Den as they still completely do damage. They will pick it up. The teleports start to come in. The first times we've really seen these. And it's going to be Boy on Bruiser. The damage goes down. Continues to focus, forcing him to flash or use Sanguine Pool. And it's going to be the flash burst, dodging the undertow with Sanguine Pool, so he gets both out of him, and he's still going to be able to chase him out. CLG now putting that 4-minute pause button with Baron onto LGN.
I think it's more like a 4-minute fast forward, though, as even though it's a 5-on-5, Counterlogic Gaming is so far ahead now in gold, in turrets, and now with a Baron buff, they could close this game out in the next few minutes if they play their cards right. And right now they've caught up with oh my gosh, nice juke there for Vladimir. He's not going to beat up a lot of damage. Can they pick up the rescue? So Voivod with no ultimate, they're going to trade 1 for 1. Will Legion try to push back through? He's a little bit dangerous, probably getting bursted down. Will flash backwards. Demon Lord's not going to like this. Explosive cast. Catches up the Cruiser. Can he make it out? There's the same with Pool. He's been healed as well. Can they do enough? Crawley's going to fall down. Cruiser in the front. Will die as well. A double kill here. Triple kill here for Double Lift. And they're going to keep on moving in. CLG very low on health, but they have sustain here from Sona. And they are still pushing on.
Yeah, that was a great job. Big Fat LP starting off with that Deathfire grasp, which instantly said, wait, he didn't even use a real cooldown that he needs to have right now. That means Gragas can still output a huge front load of burst damage. That just turned them around. You saw them counter-initiate that. Vladimir may actually be in trouble here if they decide this. He throws down his ultimate, mitigating a little bit of damage. They really don't want to be able to mess with that. Corki still sitting out on the outside, and Demon Lol, if left alone, does have that Triforce. He will be able to output that damage.
Yeah, a phenomenal game all game long here by Counterlogic. They're pushing in a little bit of these minions in the mid lane, but Hotshot will retreat right now. What they're going to do right now is regroup. They pushed out minions to make sure they wouldn't get counterattacked too heavily, and now they're going to buy some items. They've got a 13,000 gold lead. They're going to use that to buy 13,000 gold worth of items over their opponents. They've got levels and experience. They're ready to rock.
All right. And it looks like we do have a replay of that last fight. See what went down. Big happenings here in this game. They were catching up to him. The cleaver hits. He's going nowhere from that. And we just see Zyra coming out strong. The Stranglethorn laid down as Olaf didn't have ult. And here comes the Deathfire Grasp hit. Bam! So much damage, bringing it to half and forcing the flash. Vladimir pushed off to the right and they got dispersed. Like I said, that exploding cast so effective to really just disturb an entire team at once.
Yeah, just all the kills picked up. A triple kill again for Double Lift. It gave them the turret and the inhibitor. The CLG constantly aggressive here. They're stealing their second Golem buff in a row. We saw Gragas steal it last time. He's stolen it again 5 minutes later. And CLG is still keeping the pace very, very fast. Giving up 6 deaths, that's not a big deal when you've got twice as many kills, when you've got 8 turrets and you know, a Baron under the belt. CLG, they can go in for a game-winning push here. They're going to try, and we'll see if Legion can hold on to this.
Right now, Chouster looking very good for CLG, playing quite strong. Double Lift as well, though, and that's why he is 7-2-4. Chouster actually staying on his back the whole time. These guys have been buddy-buddy throughout the entire match, and Double Lift is getting extra speed and just extra defense whenever he needs it. Getting out of this one, they take down the inhibitor happily and still have control of the map.
Yeah, and they're just going to no, they're not going to regroup for the top lane. I thought they were going to go for their third inhibitor. They're first going to steal over this Blizzard buff. So again, constantly controlling the jungle, as you called it a while ago. Pretty much both jungles are CLGs here. And so they're going to see, are we going to see them go for the next, or are we going to see them go for the third inhibitor? This is now time for CLG to try to close this one out, and Legion needs to hold this one final battle. Vladimir is taking some damage up in the front line. Sivir ultimate is popped. They're going for this first turret. Legion needs to group up. There's the initiation. He's going to fall right away, though. Hotshot in front, not the target to focus. The great crescendo goes off, so much damage, and now everyone else is forced back. The explosive cast comes up, picks up the second kill of the fight. And now CLG, still healthy enough to keep on moving, have a great numbers advantage. As one turret falls, they're going to move on to the second one. This is looking great for CLG. Voivod going back in. So much burst damage still going off on all sides. And now the Nexus is available, and CLG wants to turn in game one. Can they make it happen? Another kill happens, and CLG going to go up 1-0 in this fourth quarterfinal.
An amazing matchup there in the beginning. CLG just totally breaking out a different game style than what we've seen before. They kind of kept it back in Korea. They played their game. They still knew, but said, we need to bring this strategy. We need to bring how we do it over to the States. In North America Regionals here at PAX, CLG just kind of showed that you can kind of switch up that meta, making it go mid, putting the AP bottom. And they kind of did their homework because, as I said before, we heard Legion say they're probably going to dual lane swap as top. But they dual lane swapped into mid.
Yeah, absolutely a phenomenal overall gameplay choice. CLG, the first team in America I've seen put their duo lane mid. We'd seen it before. It was especially done against, the first time I really saw it was done against Kassadin to completely shut down, a potential Kassadin counter pick there from the other team. But what happened here was It was to shut down Zyra. They picked up a couple of quick kills there. They got turret after turret after turret. CLG went for a high-pressure, very fast strategy. It worked out every step of the way.
Yep.
There were a couple of missteps. Hotshot got caught out in the jungle because he didn't think there was a ward there, but Legion's early warding did get them the first kill, or their first kill. Of course, first blood did go to Hotshot there by invading on Loud Immortus, but in the end, CLG with, honestly, the surprising strategy. They actually took those keys and made them their own.
Yeah, they really did. And as we look at the scorecard, that puts CLG up 1-0 in this matchup versus Legion. They still have another one to go. Now, Freak, sometimes with a domination match like that, we do see teams surrender. We see them say, this isn't our gameplay. We can pull this one the next match. What do you think is going through LGN's mind after seeing that strategy?
Well, Legion does need to react to the sort of map movements there. Right? The early aggression came out from Counterlogic that a lot of teams wouldn't have been ready for. CLG, both North America and Europe, are traditionally known as slower-paced teams. They're teams that play for the late game. It's kind of how we read the situation as well. It's how Team Solo Mid kind of reacted to their own single elimination bracket, was to play safe, play for late game, rely on their own innate talents. Counterlogic Gaming, they're basically a new team now. The roster, the faces, you've seen them before. We all know the players. But as a team, their gameplay, it's all brand new. Legion, I don't know. I don't know if they're used to this kind of gameplay. We saw the MLG Summer Arena, Team Solo Mid got 6-0'd by Azubu Blaze because it was a strategy and a set of strategies they weren't prepared for. They saw it game 1, they saw it game 2, they saw it game 3, 4, and 5, and none of those times could they actually react and find the counter strategy. Legion, if you can theorycraft and counteract better than Solo Mid, props to you. See if you can do it.
All right, and we are going to get a quick replay of that final push, how it went down for CLG and where they really focused on to get these down. Now, in the point of this, Chowster is actually attacking the turrets as he realizes his team really has good control of this match. We see as it starts off, the Sivir ultimate goes off as he called out in the fight. They are able to just crush down Maokai after a quick twisted advance, and that was right onto Sivir, somebody that can instantly run out with that still on. You see Zyra going out, the exploding cast landed right on her, and this is where Chowster's like, you know what, you guys got the fight, let me do some damage to the turret, power chord, and then her team comes over and helps as they continue to push them to the fountain. The next turret goes down, and they continue to push onto the Nexus. You can just see how dominating Voyboy is, controlling them to the backside of their Nexus. They're really never able to get back to the front to assist the turrets and help the Nexus stay alive.
Yeah, and just a great job overall. CLG the entire game through, keeping the pressure on, and building kills were really the name of the game for them. They took down so many of them. They left the top lane inhibitor open, but they got every other turret there, and they got the Nexus and everything else. They did a phenomenal job all game long. Now, Legion, right before the replay, we talked a little bit about, can they counteract this strategy? Can they react to this type of thing? Well, I think it's possible. You remove some of the 1v2 viable champions. Now, Gragas had a 1v1 down at the bottom, and that was fine. He fought Vladimir, and it was no big deal. The top lane, though, they really didn't have a great counteract to Voyboy's Olaf. He maxed Undertow first. He last hit actually just as well as Demon Lol did, despite having a 2-versus-1 advantage. And also, Legion had given away a couple of early kills. So their initial lane swap didn't work out. It didn't actually build them an advantage, but they were forced to have Zyra in a 1v2. So they lost the lane swap war. Number 2, the very early invade, right? They went for the golem buff. They knew it was taken because the 4 of them went over there and they were like, and we're going to run away because I think they felt that CLG was there defending the golem buff. Loud Immortus went back to the golem buff at like level 3, and I don't know why. I don't know why he found himself there. If he was like trying to steal a wolf camp from Dr. Mundo, as though you're going to counter jungle Dr. Mundo well. So some questionable choices there. You know, he kind of set them back a little bit by giving away his buffs and kind of empowering Chowster for the first blood there that let him kind of snowball his own little gold lead. So they've got a couple of small decisions that were made poorly in the first 3 minutes or so that I think if they can remove those mistakes and actually follow the suit of the rest of the underdogs of this tournament and start their own good early game, this entire game was just aggression and ramping up, and CLG just kept pulling ahead. If Legion can turn that slope the other way around, they might just have what it takes.
And they may, and we'll have to see if that happens. We'll be right back after these messages.